My tips on personal branding. My name is Dr. Astela Tiena and I am a surgical trainee with a special interest in aesthetics and skincare. So I've been doing aesthetics since 2018 and I was always interested in surgery, but I also wanted to delve into business. I wasn't sure what other options are out there that are different to the traditional medical pathway, and being on maternity leave, I was a bit lost and somehow found aesthetics. Applying for going forward and doing aesthetics, I actually really enjoyed it, and it actually introduced me into marketing and building a personal brand. And can you see what I did there? I actually gave you a bit of my story. It helps people connect. So that's my first point for tips on personal branding. Make sure you have a story to tell, and tell your story in such a way that it is quite relatable to people, and actually it pulls people in and they develop a certain element of trust towards you. And this is the most important part of building a personal brand. The other point is, you cannot have a personal brand without delving into social media. Social media is such an important element of any part of any job at the moment. No matter what you do, to be able to have a presence on social media will actually give you the edge above anyone else. It doesn't matter how qualified you are. I know this sounds really bad, but whatever job you do, whether it's art, non-medical, business, finance, law, whatever, it doesn't matter how qualified you are. Believe it or not, people actually respond better and are more likely to seek your brand if you are much more relatable to them and if you're more accessible. So you have to be on social media, whether it's one platform, but ideally more than one platforms. It is very difficult to put yourself out there, talking in front of a camera, trying to make content. There are other ways you can go around this. So the option would be to employ someone to help you do and control your social media for you, make content without putting that much effort into it. I know this sounds bad, but like, don't overthink it. Just do what you can, practice talking to a camera, and over time, things get better and easier. Another tip that I would say is the most important part, and I've made notes, is have a clear plan. Now, what is your aim? For your personal brand, you need to define your goals, your aims, your ethos. What are your must-haves and must not delve into? Whatever brand option you go for, whatever business you start, you need to actually be able to have this in mind, you know? What is my plan? Where am I going? What is my niche? What is the niche that I want to put out there? And it may be so super specific, and actually that's okay. That's even better. It's much better if you have a specific niche than if you are delving into many different areas. And I did this actually, and I'm probably still guilty of this, in that I have a lot of different parts to my life. So I tend to kind of have my social media a bit of a mix of everything, which can be more difficult to grow. But actually, if you have a niche and you're much more specific, you are more likely to attract the right people that you're trying to attract, and then actually grow your business or your personal brand much more further. So again, a lot of the time people might say, okay, but how do I know how I'm attracting these people, who I'm attracting? You need to actually define your demographic. What population or what demographic are you trying to attract to your personal brand? There is no point in kind of devising a plan without actually knowing who you are targeting. You need to be able to target, you know, what age group are you looking for? What specific occupations, what interests are you targeting? And if you actually know what you're aiming for, you're more likely to be able to attract these people, because your personal brand will attract them and it's much more tailored for them. Another point that I made is networking. You must network. Whatever you do, part of building your personal brand is meeting either like-minded colleagues or colleagues from different niches And it is quite difficult to put yourself out there. It's not easy at the start, definitely. And it's always, if you're not someone who likes networking, it can be a bit more of an effort to put yourself out there. But actually, that's where growth will lie. And that's where you will meet like-minded people, but also you'll be able to grow your network of support. So it can be quite lonely when you're building your own personal brand for whatever job you're aiming for, or even if you just want to build a presence on social media for any purpose. But you need to be able to network and have colleagues, whether through social media or face-to-face, actually go to different events, go to different courses through social media. If you find someone that you really like, don't be afraid to click follow and actually talk to them, send them a DM, ask them questions. Now, sometimes when we network, we are so open and can be quite kind and try to attract like-minded people or mentors. But what can happen is sometimes you can attract people who just do the networking one way. They want to get what they can out of you and then move on. So be careful who you're networking with and make sure that it's something that you can benefit from, but also offer to benefit the other person. This is how it works. And actually, I've gained so many amazing colleagues that I can now call friends through networking, through social media. And it's opened up different job opportunities. You know, I've been there to support them. There's been times that they've supported me. So it's much better if you network and you're open and honest and just put yourself out there. So that's one of the key important parts. And one of the most other, I've probably said everything is the most important. But I mean, these are the key parts. I think this is why I've picked these points, is that one of the other most important points is that you need to be consistent, persistent, and don't give up, don't lose hope. Building a personal brand takes time. Getting the trust of your target audience takes time. You need to be able to constantly, persistently, consistently put yourself out there in a very authentic way that's relatable, and you are more likely to then, over time, gain the trust of your target audience, and then this will then turn into outcomes that you're seeking. Whether you have an aesthetic clinic like me and you want to attract more clients, or you want to be able to have an education platform and you want people to subscribe to you so they can trust your content and come back and share. But it's developing a personal relationship with the people that you are trying to attract, whether, you know, it's clientele, patients, etc. They need to be able to trust you. And as with social media, it's one of the most consumed platforms out there that people do in the comfort of their own home, on the train, in the car, on the bus, everywhere. So if you are always on there, people are going to, over time, get used to seeing you, and you can reiterate your ethos, reiterate your branding, reiterate what you stand for. Then actually, this is a very powerful tool. It can be very slow at the beginning. Don't lose heart. Slow and steady wins the race. And I like to leave this with actually saying, part of having a personal brand, I think you don't have to be someone who is not authentic. You don't have to change yourself. The beauty lies in being unique. It doesn't matter if you think I'm too old for social media, I'm not pretty enough for social media, I'm not confident enough. None of this is actually, this is all in your own mind. In reality, people want to see people that are more relatable to them, to day-to-day life. So put yourself out there, be your authentic self, be unique, and you will attract the right people. And consistency and persistency, that's the key. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you found this useful. Please, please, please come to my channel and follow my page through social media platforms, which I'm sure my Locum Summit will post. So thank you so much for this opportunity as well, Locum Summit, and take care, everyone.
I'll be doing a video today on top tips on starting foundation training. The reason I chose this topic is because especially from my personal experience, I found it quite daunting from being a medical student to suddenly becoming a doctor overnight.